There's a lot of things I really don't like about this modern age of gaming, and I know that this is probably a really specific thing I'm going to be talking about, but we recently had a development on the latest Resident Evil 4 Remake patch, and it just got me thinking about a lot of the other instances where this has happened, and I just want to talk about it. So specifically what I'm talking about today is I am talking about fixing glitches and bugs that are unintentional, but lead to fun, interesting tech and strategies that can be used in single-player games and multiplayer games that can be used to just mess around and have fun, as well as utilize them in a very optimal way for things like speedruns, advanced level play, that sort of thing. So like I said, this has happened in most of the games that I've played at some point or another, but just today we got a patch for Resident Evil 4 Remake that took out one of its most infamous glitches that speedrunners and advanced players are using to skip large chunks of the game. So in today's patch, among a bunch of other issues that were fixed, the main issue that I'm referring to was an issue that was causing players to warp through walls when using the scope in certain areas. So the way that this glitch would work is that you would have a rifle with a scope equipped and you would go with your back to the wall in one of the doors that has a lock on the other side. And as you lean backwards against the door and you walk backwards when you have the scope down, Leon would actually clip through the door. And what you would do is as you unscope, you do a quick turn and you'll end up on the other side of the wall. So when you press an interact button in order to interact with the lock on the door, Leon will appear on the other side of the door and he will unlock the door, which will save huge chunks of time in various sections of the game. So this is Resident Evil 4's main glitch, in which you use to skip multiple sections of the game, especially going through some of the more challenging parts in the hardcore and professional difficulties, and would save a bunch of time for speedrunners. And knowing Capcom's recent history with patching these kinds of bugs and glitches, I kinda had a feeling that this thing would be patched out at some point. And exactly 1 month from when Resident Evil 4 Remake was released, it gets patched. And even though I myself didn't use this glitch and I personally don't have any plans to speedrun Resident Evil 4 Remake in the future, I'm a little bit irritated that this glitch was actually taken out. Because one of the things that I miss about the older games that I play is that there are a whole bunch of other like fun exploits and glitches that you can use, not in like your casual run that will ruin your casual experience and immersion, but rather after you play the game and you get some time to adjust with it, you can find neat tips and tricks in order to break the game, make certain sections easier, and just try shit out and just have fun. Obviously, one of the main talking points is the Deadman Glitch from OG Resident Evil 4. So if you're unfamiliar with what the Deadman Glitch is, basically in order to perform it, you need to aim the striker, enter the inventory before the laser sight appears, equip any other item, and then immediately exit the inventory. After you do that, Leon moves approximately 1.5 times faster in pretty much all of his animations that he does. And in doing this, not only do you just move faster, but you're going to be able to actually do a whole bunch of other different skips as well, including skipping the double giant fight. On a quick side note, I think it's a bit ironic that they actually have the striker as a charm with the same sort of ability that increases your movement speed, sort of as like a little nod and reference to that glitch and the speedrunning community of Resident Evil 4 in general. But then in the same game, they do this same shit where they patch a glitch to make the game faster. And I know I'm talking specifically about Resident Evil 4, but this is a common trend that I've just noticed among a bunch of the other games that I play, and I personally am just not a fan of it. In my own personal opinion, if a bug or a glitch does not specifically ruin the casual experience and immersion, I feel like it should be included in the game and used as a way for other people to just mess around with it. I know that it's really important for game developers and game testers to make sure that their game works and functions properly. Obviously, if there's any sort of issue where I'm running down a narrow hallway and I fall through the floor endlessly, that shit should get patched. But if I have to go through a very specific sequence or a very specific set of actions in order to do something, like the Deadman glitch or the scope glitch or whatever, I feel like for the purposes of breaking the game and just adding another extra layer to it, it should be kept in the game. And I feel like this is something that we see a lot more in older games because they didn't have the ability to update and patch and add DLC and all this other stuff. So now they have the opportunity to fix these glitches, whether they're game breaking or they're used in this way. Another example of Capcom doing the same sort of thing is with the University glitch in DMC5, where you're able to clip out of bounds and go through a very specific section in order to skip a couple of enemy encounters. And if you go for the full skip, you go right to the boss and skip the rest of the level after only encountering maybe 1 or 2 forced encounters. It's probably DMC5's most well-known glitch, but one of the other things that's most infamous about it is how it was patched. So long story short, Itsuno-san and Matt Walker were reacting to DE Cosmic's run of Devil May Cry 5, and when they passed that section where he did the university skip, Itsunan basically said, "Oh, we should probably patch that."
That is not something that we had ever found before. He's actually clipped through the environment. He's walking along the river. But now that we know that this is in there, we're going to have to look into fixing that.
And then when Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition came out, one of the first things that everybody did was see if University Skip was still there, and it wasn't. There is still a way to do University Skip, but it is in a different spot, and it is way harder to actually pull off. So at this point, it's just not even worth doing in actual runs. But like I said, this is another instance where you have to go really out of your way in order to do this skip. And realistically, it saves you a little bit of extra time. You see a cool little behind the scenes section of the underworld where you actually see the university that they use in the photo, and that's why it's called University Skip. And it's just a really cool, fun thing to do, you know? And I know that one of the counter arguments for this is that when we go into the level of competing in competitions and stuff like that, obviously we all want to be on the same playing field, which is why in this case of speedrunning, there are multiple different categories for glitch lists, any percent, 100%, all collectibles, that sort of thing. And as a former competitive Smash player and current FGC player, I totally understand why some glitches need to be patched out for the sake of competition and fair play. But even looking at a game like Super Smash Bros. Melee that has all of these different tech options like L canceling, wave dashing, etc., all these unintentional options that are there that everybody can use just makes the game more fun and more engaging to play, and is arguably one of the main reasons why that game is still so popular even today. And judging by the way how Sakurai went on to make Smash Bros. Brawl and Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate while taking away all those other features, it really does show that all those things were unintentional. Because you know damn well if Sakurai had the chance to patch Melee, the first thing that he would take out is fucking wave dashing. So unfortunately, there's no real way to end this video other than just saying, I don't like that this practice happens and I wish that they didn't do it. And it's not like I'm gonna have any say in what they're going to do for the future, but it just really got me thinking about all those video games that I used to play that had little fun exploits like this that you could utilize. And even games that I play nowadays that had those features back then, I can still play, still use today. Whereas now modern gaming has turned into a microtransaction palooza, constant bug fixes, and less room for experimentation and just messing around. And I know that there's also a vocal community of gamers who don't like these bugs, don't like these glitches, and just actively call out and say that these sort of things don't belong in our games. But the way that I see it is that if it doesn't directly affect you in a casual experience or in your casual immersion of playing a video game, it should be allowed in the game. And if you don't want to use it, awesome. Don't use it. And even a gamer such as myself who doesn't necessarily utilize all of these glitches in this way, I still love watching events like Games Done Quick, where the games are just completely broken in a way that is super entertaining to watch and for a good cause. So that's my mini discussion / rant on this subject. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this particular topic in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button to see more. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.